an inexperienced person sometimes doesn't know their limits and sometimes doesn't know what their body's feeling when they're doing it until the next day or 2 days later when they can't walk. And that's where I used to try and avoid challenge and avoid failure and those sorts of things, which in the end led to the biggest challenge of my life and the biggest failure of my life, where I had to learn from.
Culminated.
Yeah, I always avoided them, which just culminated and added up to that big point. It's quite ironic, but yeah.
That's the way the world works, isn't it?
They're going too hard too soon with trying to do 3, 4, 5 sessions in a week. From coming from nothing to stepping up to that level, it's not sustainable. And I'm big on sustainability and making sure that what they do now, they can see themselves doing in 10 years' time.
Hello and welcome to the 5th episode of the Movement Therapy Podcast, the podcast where we help you return to the gym and stay there. So I've got special guest here, Glen from Brighton Group Fitness and PT. Me and Glen go quite far back, okay? Thanks for coming on board, man. Really happy to have you, man.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so let's, first when I see your face, I always think about that time when I was doing that Wim Hof. You had an event for Wim Hof, a Wim Hof event, and I lasted about 1 minute and 30 in that ice bath. I thought I was doing all that, the cold showers leading up to it, I was doing the meditation stuff. I thought it was a bit of a star. Jump up to neck first. Man, what a traumatic experience for me. I had to get out of that. Was tough. That was tough, man. So
yeah, I remember that.
So anyway, that's where I first met Glen. And how long ago do you think that was?
I stopped doing those events about just over 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
A bit over that.
Yeah, so that was probably about when you kind of... Anyway, we'll go a bit deeper into that later, but we'll get you to, just to introduce yourself, so tell me a little bit about what you do currently.
Yeah, cool.
Right.
So currently, Brighton Group Fitness and PT, like Adam said before, is my business, my passion, my love at the moment. We do outdoor group fitness mainly, and one-on-one mobile PT as well. So, go around to clients' houses, local parks, that sort of thing, and just get people moving and that sort of thing, just to get them on the right track, really.
Cool. And how long have you been running that for now?
A bit over 3 years.
3 years?
Yeah. So prior to that, I was doing one-on-one PT out of Good Life and that sort of thing. Just evolved into what I enjoyed most, really.
Yeah. No, sounds like you're doing really well. We were just talking before just how busy he was. So tell me a little bit about more with the people that you come and see there. What's the age group that usually come to these group fitness activities and stuff?
Yeah, so our average age is 49. So, almost that 50 range. Yeah. We've got clients in their 70s. Our youngest, I think, my youngest one-on-one client is 14, I believe.
Oh, cool.
So, we've got quite a range there.
Yeah.
But our core group is about 49.
49.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah. So it's cool. It's an interesting age group because I've done a lot of fitness stuff with that age group. Very loving age group. Definitely. Great to work with.
Yeah.
Also interesting time to get into fitness.
Yep.
Or get back into fitness. And we'll have some questions to go through here. So if people are watching in that age group, or maybe if you take some notes when you get to that age group, it might help you out. So we'll get to know a little bit more about you. So just tell me a little bit about what you like to do when you're training. What's a bit more of your, what's your training background in fitness?
Background, okay.
Yeah.
How far do you want to go back?
Well, let's go the last 2 years or something like that. 2-3 years.
Yeah.
So
cool. So my focus for the last couple of years, personally, has been more around longevity and just moving better and training for long life.
Okay.
I've had kids and and stuff like that in the last few years. So my training goals have evolved since before kids and that sort of thing. Where it was just mainly sort of fat loss, because I was an overweight sort of kid. We'll get into that later.
Yeah, definitely.
And then it kind of went performance for events and training for half marathon and that sort of thing. Yeah. And now it's just for lifestyle. Lifestyle. So I can be like the clients that I've got, in their 70s and that sort of thing. Who are still running around with their grandkids and that sort of thing. So I see my clients now, and me being quite younger than them, it inspires, it inspires me to be able to do what they can do when I'm their age. So that's my sort of background and focus at the moment, really.
That's good. Yeah, I feel like when you get to that age, kind of can't painting people with a broad brush, but I suppose like, when you get to more, if your values become more around family and centered around that, I suppose it's less about performance and more about just having the energy.
Correct.
To get the most out of your life, that sort of thing. So let's talk about a bit, because you've done, obviously been a PT. How long have you been a PT, roughly?
About 5 years, maybe. About that.
Okay.
About that. I was sort of in the health and lifestyle coaching arena before that for a couple of years.
Oh, okay.
And then went through my own health journey and helped my friends, family out before I was qualified. And, and all that sort of stuff.
That old story,
Yeah. So, including my own journey coming up to almost 10 years, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. And what, so let's talk specifically, I suppose, like from your training in the gym and stuff like that. Have you had many issues personally with injuries or issues like in your body-wise?
I've been pretty lucky to a degree.
Yeah.
When I was training for half marathon, I did get an injury come up in the bottom of the leg and that sort of thing, which was a herniation down there.
Yeah.
So something that's quite rare and that sort of thing. So you wouldn't see it traditionally with most people.
Yeah.
But other than that, I haven't had many real setbacks or no major injuries, no surgeries, all that sort of stuff. So personally, that side of things, I've been pretty lucky. And I've learned to listen to my body, I think. So, when I have felt something coming on, it's about, assessing what's happening, taking that step back to say, have I put too much load on too soon? Am I training too often, or am I doing this certain thing too much, or whatever? And just making sure that I'm not, pushing that limit too much, per se, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Those are actually some really good questions to ask yourself. So
definitely.
Probably, I think most of us are probably asking those questions, but we don't listen to them.
Correct. Yeah, definitely. But in saying that, I'm currently dealing with a wrist injury at the moment. So a few weeks ago, took my group hiking, or one of my other coaches took our group hiking. I tagged along, slipped over, fell on my wrist. So that's been quite sore for the past few weeks. Currently dealing with that injury. It's probably the worst I've had.
Oh wow! Jeez, man. Yeah.
Since my herniation on the leg.
Yeah, crikey. Yeah, you're doing a lot better than me, man. So that's it. Jeez. So at least with your injuries, like with the wrist, it's you've got a story to tell a little bit, like how that's happened. But my past ones, there was no, like, I can't tell you any good stories. It was just I used to go to the gym, in my 20s, and I eventually got back pain. That's it, and I felt really old for quite a big period of time. So so it's you're doing really well then, if that's the worst injury that you've had so far, man. So you don't need that. You don't need that shit. So that's it. So cool, man. So let's you do a lot of group fitness. Do you generally call them boot camps?
No, we don't do boot camp. We steer away from that. Anyone that knows me knows that I'm not a drill sergeant, boot camp instructor. Probably the most placid, calm PTs out there.
Definitely.
In the park. We don't go to that boot camp style of training. It's more, client focused, and sort of we individualize things around the group Whereas some traditional boot camps is like, if you can't lift that tire, then there's no other option.
That's it. There's no smaller tires out there.
That's right. Yeah. Whereas, there's always an option. There's always an alternative that we can give our clients to make sure that they're not going to damage anything, and they're going to stop coming. So
that's it.
It's about looking after our members the best way possible. We've got a timetable with specific classes. So some of the boot camps out there, they've just got boot camp Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
That's it.
So there's not much variety there. We've got the variety to mix things up as well.
Yeah, because I saw you got the boxing and you said you're doing a bit of yoga and stuff like that too, which is, great. Because I suppose the boot camp's a bit more of a buzzword for, if you're in your 20s to 30s or something.
Yeah.
Get in there, get flogged, and feel great after. Is that great? Is that sustainable? That's another conversation.
Yeah, there's nothing against them. And, they're great for what they are, and for the certain people that enjoy them.
Definitely. Definitely. Great for conditioning and stuff like that. Not something I'll sign up for though.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's so you won't see me in any of those anyway. So, so I suppose when you're doing quite a bit of group fitness, we talked a bit about the age group, talking like 50 give or take. Just roughly speaking. So is there any particular, when people are coming into there, is any like particular injury or issues that you feel like that people show up with, or that you come into contact with? Yeah,
we see a lot of shoulder issues, a lot of hip issues, a lot of knee issues, back, all the common sort of joints and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's it. I've had plenty of experience with most of those things.
Yeah. So it's a case of, meeting them where they're at and just working the sessions and the program and the recommendations that we give off our timetable to those who need adjustments. We've got sessions that we recommend, which are our most low impact, low intensity classes for most people to come in on and just build that foundation. They're more our strength based classes. And then,
so it's a bit more slow paced sort of thing.
Correct, yeah. Yep. So, there's no impact really, there's no jumping, all that sort of stuff that you might see in some other group fitness classes. The heart rate might get up is, if we say do sort of high knees in the warm up, that's it.
Okay.
Those
sounds alright.
Yeah, those sorts of classes are really good to build the foundation, and then we can work around, whatever issues they may have, and sort of build things to hopefully help those issues really.
Okay, cool. So I suppose just being a bit more progressive.
Correct.
And then getting them back in. So
yep.
It's do you have to refer out? I suppose like if do you find that you're referring out to like other professionals to help out with these sort of things? Like,
if we need to, definitely. Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah. So, if someone comes to us with something that just isn't getting better, or it's getting worse, or something's just not working, then if we've tried everything and it's out of our scope, then 100%.
Okay, cool. So I suppose you're getting quite a broad range of what people are rocking up with, and then you're just doing, the best way. I suppose like always good advice for that sort of stuff. Yeah, is starting slow and slowly ramping that up.
Yep.
But like I said, if you're doing it, like we spoke about the boot camp stuff, it's quite, it's pretty difficult to do that. So,
100%.
Most times. So it's good that to actually have a group fitness place that offers that. But I suppose if you do have an injury or stuff like that, you've got to actually pick that class. So
I go through a full consult with anyone that inquires with us, and it's about finding where they're at, finding what they're struggling with, and then giving them the recommendations into the type of class that would suit them. We've had someone just start recently who I've recommended just go into our yoga and our balance class so they can build some core strength and that sort of thing before moving on to our strength and toning class. And then after that, once they build the foundation, they might come across into our cross training class.
Yep.
So it's just that progression through the timetable.
Yeah, so it's like a pathway then,
Yeah.
isn't it? So so I just like I like the idea of getting some kind of assessment before you go into the class and stuff like that. So I'm not really aware how other people run these other places, but that sounds like a very good idea.
Yeah, we always check where the clients are at and make sure that we're not throwing them in the deep end too much.
Yeah, definitely. So, okay, cool. So I suppose with you've been doing this for over 3 years now. So what are some of like the common mistakes you see? Let's say if someone who's inexperienced with training, they drop into a group fitness class or they want to join up with you.
Yeah.
What are some of the mistakes that you see them when they're in your classes or?
Probably number one is trying to keep up with the person next to them.
Very hard not to.
Yep.
Yeah, especially if you're a PT in a class, that's hard.
Yeah, 100%, definitely. Definitely, not being able to pull themselves back when they need to. I'm a big believer in, you don't have to train till you vomit, and you don't have to train till it fucking hurts. Sorry, I'm not allowed to. Am I allowed to swear?
Swear all your life. Mojo Master was on the first episode, and he just totally blew off the swear-o-meter or whatever you want to call it. So he really broke it in. So say fuck, shit, whatever you want. So
so we'll keep it real.
Yeah, keep it real.
Excellent. It's about just doing those sorts of things, really. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Oh, so you're just talking about just staying, trying to keep up with the person who's more experienced next to you.
Yeah, so just making sure that you're listening to your body and making sure that you're not pushing. An inexperienced person sometimes doesn't know their limits and sometimes doesn't know what their body's feeling when they're doing it until the next day or 2 days later when they can't walk and that sort of thing. That's probably the biggest, I guess, mistake, I guess if you want to call it. Is doing that. The next thing is probably going too hard too soon with trying to do 3, 4, 5 sessions in a week. From coming from nothing to stepping up to that level, it's not sustainable. And I'm big on sustainability and making sure that what they do now, they can see themselves doing in 10 years' time. It's about that sustainability as to finding that balance, really.
Yeah, because I suppose when people rock up and they, they're taking on too many classes, it's you want them to be there for the next, year and past, right?
Yeah.
So, if you've ever, skipped lower body and you've done it, 4 months, you skip it for 4 months, you go back at it again.
Yeah.
Man, you really regret it.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely. It's just about, communicating with us as trainers as well. So we find that sometimes with new people is just not communicating things straight off the bat, and if something flares up or they get a niggle or something, the best thing to do is let someone know. Otherwise, we don't know what's happening, we can't read minds, we're good but not that good.
No one's that good, so.
That's right. So communicating is a big thing as well.
So with so I suppose with people that you feel like say if someone does pipe up like during the classes, what do you normally, like for someone who's like, oh, I don't want to pipe up, what usually happens when they do pipe up and let you know?
Nothing really out of the ordinary. We'll have a little chat to them and see what's going on and get them to do an alternative if that's the where they're at. If they can't do a push-up, that's fine. There's always another option to work a similar pattern of movement or muscle or whatever. There's always different options. And that's what we say is, don't be scared to pipe up. Don't be scared to speak up. And don't feel, I guess, separated or, from the group if we give you an alternative because you're there, you've showed up, you're doing better than however long ago when you weren't showing up, and you're doing better than the person on the couch that isn't there at all. You've showed up. There's other options. There's so many different options.
Definitely, man. That's what I love about this industry. So many different ways to do any exercise or work a certain muscle. So but I just like the idea. You got to if they're here, don't try to be that far. You just meet them where they are, or meet yourself where you are is probably more thing, and then just slowly, just increase the load or progressively get better. That's usually, that's how you get better at things, rather than you start here and you try to jump 4 or 5 levels. You fall back down and you kind of hurt yourself. So
it comes back to the whole climbing a ladder thing. You try and skip a few rungs on the ladder, you're going to get pretty burnt out pretty quick, and it's not going to be sustainable. No,
that's it. So fitness is a long game. The end. That's it. So,
100%.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So I suppose so let's say we're talking about somebody who's like very inexperienced, who hasn't done fitness before. What about you get those people that might have been like, they're coming back to fitness, right? And maybe as a younger kid in their 20s, they were like a footy player, or they love playing sport. They were like really fit. And now it's been like, I don't know, like 20-year break or something, and they're coming back to fitness. Is there any advice that you give to that person that's kind of coming back into it?
Yeah, exactly the same as the other
person.
Don't keep up with the person next to you. They're people that will try and keep up. And if you're trying to keep up with one of our more experienced members, then you're going to have a hard time. Just listen to where your body's at, and listen to those niggles, and ask some of those questions that I mentioned earlier of yourself. It's just about realizing that you're not 20 years younger, for one, and things take a little bit longer to recover, and things don't feel like they probably do in your mind from 20 years ago. So it's just a case of listening and
matching it.
100%.
Cool. All right. Cool, man. So let's we'll go back a little bit, because we said a few things where we'll go into that bit deeper. So we kind of have to now. So that's it. So that was the promise. So
kept them hanging.
They probably switched off now. When we don't see it. So it's only the movement therapy podcast. So that's it. So, but tell us a little bit. I suppose a good question is, tell us how you got into the fitness industry in the first place.
Cool. So depending how far you want to go back, I guess. There's probably a few triggers there. But I'd say my biggest reason would be, being a teenager and being overweight and always feeling like the last in PE class, and not wanting to go to the change rooms and get changed because I'd always be teased and bullied and all that sort of thing. I guess there was that much pain there, and that lasted all through high school into sort of, I guess, young adulthood, outside of school as well, was always having that insecurity about me, my body, all that sort of stuff. And that kind of led me to wanting to improve my health, all that sort of stuff. I did what most teenagers did from a young age, is go out partying and drink and that sort of thing. So as a overweight teen, I felt like I had to be that kid that was always the wasted at the party and stuff like that. So I could be, cool, I guess. And wear that mask. And then when I got, 18 and went clubbing and all that sort of stuff, it was, partying, clubbing every weekend. And that led to, drug use, alcohol abuse, all that sort of stuff for many years. And then got to about 25 and I just hit rock bottom. So, we'd been out on a big bender New Year's Eve, just before my 25th birthday. And I got to, a couple of days before my 25th, and I thought, fuck, what have I done in my life? I'm coming up to quarter of a century. By now I should have had everything I wanted growing up and all that sort of
Terrible
stuff.
feeling.
Yeah, I didn't have anything that I aspired to when I was a kid, and I kind of shut down and hit rock bottom. That was years of dealing with depression and all that sort of stuff, and that all stemmed from drug use and alcohol and not fitting in and being bullied and all that sort of stuff built up. So yeah, hit rock bottom. Contemplated ending it all right there. Over about a 2-day period of my deepest, darkest times. And then, I got to a point where I just said enough is enough, and I felt like I still had something to prove, and I still had to make myself proud and my family proud as well of me and what I can do in my life and achieve. So yeah, that was kind of a snap, or a click in my brain to say, I am capable of more. I've just got to do the work. I am able to do these things that I aspired to if I put in the work. So yeah, that was my turning point. Just after my 25th birthday, I really started to get things on track. I quit drinking, drugs, partying, left my partner at the time, and just delved into the personal development world.
Wow.
That's when I came across Mojo. Probably 8 years ago, 9 almost, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just after my rock bottom point, where I needed it the most as well. Did his events, and I've done many of his events over the past 8-9 years, which have just blown my whole perception of the world and possibilities and self-belief and all that sort of stuff, to allow me to be here today doing what I do and helping others, and really just loving what I do.
No, that's incredible, man. It's definitely been quite, because I remember you telling me a story when we were at the ice bath event.
Yeah.
And I was just immediately I remember when I came home, I was just telling my girlfriend about this story, and I was like, I love this guy. I just love hearing those stories where you think it's the end.
Yeah.
But then something just brings you back up. I don't know what it is, but it's just incredible. So
yeah.
And by the way, if you're hearing the rain, it is just starting to pour down, and we are in a tin shed right now. So I'm hoping that my voice is coming through, but you have to ignore the rain, okay? So, but yeah, man, that's just. So I suppose when you're in that real bottom and you feel like you can't go down any lower, what do you because it was I suppose it was from you going from that real bottom bit to how long did it take for you to feel like I'm actually I'm on the up? Like you're like, oh, I'm actually doing things in my life. Like what would just to give people an idea, it takes a while, right? So
it did.
Yeah.
It did, but I mean this all happened January of the year.
Yeah.
Like I said, after the New Year's, and my birthday is 7 days after New Year's. So it happened at the start of the year. My first Mojo event was mid-February that year, so a bit over a month later, and that opened my world up, the possibilities, and opened a massive can of worms of what I could do. So I think that was something that accelerated that process a bit.
Okay.
Obviously I was still going through my shit, going through my journey and struggles and that sort of thing. But funny you say that, I found my old journal from that year.
Oh, wow. Journals are great, by the way.
Yeah, only a few weeks ago I found that. And I was going through, so each month I would reflect on the month that had been and see what I had achieved for that month. And I was looking through all my achievements, and they weren't groundbreaking achievements or anything like that, but they were what I needed at the time to reflect on, to say, I am achieving something. Because prior to that, I felt like I hadn't achieved anything. I was just a drop kick in a toxic relationship and not where I wanted to be. So celebrating those small little achievements every single month kept spurring me on, I think.
Get the momentum going.
Yeah, I'd write down, 1 month without a drink. Lost however much weight or whatever, because that was when I was going through still losing weight and still my journey of losing weight and that sort of thing. Going for walks and waking up at 5:30 and going for a walk before work and that sort of thing was an achievement for me. Those things spurred me on and kept me going, I think. So I think by month 6 or something that year, I'd lost 12 kilos. I hired my first PT in that time as well. So I hired someone to help me on my journey.
Definitely reaching out that's like, because I suppose you had that you had the event that happened in January, and then you reached out to someone like Mojo and whatnot. That's that's quite hard. Like, I don't care what it is, whether it's because you've got shoulder pain or you've got something going, mental health in your life. Just admitting that there's a problem that needs to get help and you need someone else outside of you to help. That is huge. And when you actually do it, like, things just start to happen really quickly. I think so.
100%.
Yeah. So in the PT, so just helping more the obviously upping fitness and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So I dabbled in the gym and stuff like that before I hit rock bottom and that sort of thing, just with mates, and had no idea what we were doing. And then obviously once I realized that I did need help and I did need that extra eyes on what was going on and that sort of thing, allowed me to step into hiring my first PT to PT me and help me learn and progress where I was at to where I wanted to be. So that was a good learning process and learning curve to say, it is okay to ask for help. And I'd always been the person who wouldn't ask for help. I'd always been the person who would shut down and hide my emotions and hide everything internally, and I wouldn't reach out. I wouldn't, say anything to anyone really. That would be me. And in the end, it kind of just boiled up, and that led to my rock bottom, and everything kind of compounded on top of one another to almost end it all.
And kind of gave yourself no choice but to it's kind of, I suppose, what you try to talk about with these things is stop people getting to that point. But sometimes that's what it takes. So
I understand. So I'm a big believer in everyone has to learn their own lessons. As coaches, we can tell people what to do and that sort of thing, but they're never going to do it unless they know why or they learn their lesson. Sometimes the hard way, sometimes the easy way. Some people have to learn the hard way, and that was me. I had to learn the hard way to say, is this all that I've got, and that sort of thing. Big slap in the face and kick up the butt.
That's it.
I'm a big believer. Everyone has to learn their own lessons. Sometimes go through shit before reaching out, asking for help. But ideally, I don't want anyone to get to that place. I don't want anyone to be in that dark place where I was at. If I can stop someone getting there, awesome. Whether that's through exercise or just, lifestyle or whatever, just if we can, still teach people the lessons, but not let them get to that point.
Especially
that would be my ideal world.
That's it. Especially if you don't, if you too, because you've got your rock bottom here, if they stop like 2 levels before that, I think that's extremely helpful for people. Like,
100%.
You might think that well, if that never happened, you wouldn't be where you are now, you wouldn't have the experience and stuff, but you wouldn't be like, you wouldn't choose to do that.
No.
No one would choose to do that. Like, it's like, you know, but you just, the whole idea of like going into it, you know, you're always told these things, you know, what it's like, all this, you know, watch videos, hear people talk about it, but not until you're there and then you're feeling it. It's completely different, man. So it's like the magnitude of the lesson is just like 10x.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So and that just stays with you for life. So
yeah.
But it's also great to bring it up because, like we were talking before, like outside of this is like you often forget that these things happen to you, and you feel like, oh, I've always been, you know, fit, or I've always done this and that. And like you got to come, if you come back to it, and you remind yourself where you've come, you know, stay, you know, smell the roses, so to speak. It's you know, it's pretty powerful to be able to do that. So.
Yeah, and we all face our own challenges at different levels, and you know, we always will. There's no getting away from that. And I think that's where I used to try and avoid challenge and avoid failure and those sorts of things, which in the end led to the biggest challenge of my life, and you know, the biggest failure of my life, where I had to learn from.
Yeah, culminated.
Yeah, I always avoided them, which just culminated and added up to that big point. So yeah, it's quite ironic, but yeah.
That's the way the world works, isn't it? It's like you got that little shoulder pain there, and you're like, no, I want to keep bench pressing, right? It's like, just keep ignoring, it'll go away itself. Gets worse, keep ignoring it.
Yeah.
Eventually it turns into a monster, and then you can't move your arm or something.
Yeah. And
then you've got to do something about it. So it's only a problem when it's a problem.
Yeah.
So like I said, very ironic, but that's how the world works, man. So
yeah.
Cool. Let's just tie that all off, because there's a lot to unpack on that. So we've gone through, you know, quite a bit of adversity in your young years, right? Is anything like you starting a business, you're obviously going through different challenges, you know, obviously not at that magnitude now. Is there any things that you use now to get you through those challenges of, you know, growing your business or in your fitness, or like, is there any of these go-to things that you always come back to?
Yeah, definitely. So reaching out for help, definitely number one. You know, I've got my own PT, Sedzi, who was on.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was on
your
the
podcast
second
previously.
episode. That's a good plug. I like it. So
yeah, so he's my PT.
There you go. That's it.
And you know, I've got my own business coach and own mindset coach and marketing and all those sorts of things for different areas, because I know people specialize in different areas and different things, so I can learn off them and leverage off them what they have learned and what they've failed at, so that I don't fail at the same things or, you know, go through those same processes. It's the exact same for, you know, my clients and members is, you know, they might have similar challenges and similar struggles to what I had, so I've got the experience where I can help them through that. So it comes down to reaching out for help, mindset stuff as well. So I underestimated the power of mindset prior to going through my rock bottom and that sort of thing. And, you know, I still have my mindset challenges, and, you know, I'm not 100% every single day, because no one is.
No.
So it's about asking good questions at the right times. So it comes back to using what I've learned as well. You know, the tools that I've learned around mindset, business, fitness, whatever is, you know, it's all great to have that knowledge in your head, but if you don't use it, what's the point of having it?
Yeah, I'm totally all over it. And if you stop using that sort of stuff, you start to become a bit rusty.
Oh yeah,
with that sort of thing. So you definitely don't want to. You know, we've all had those instances where we become overconfident in what we're doing, and we stop coming back to the basics. Whether that's like, I don't need to work on my form. You know, those thoughts in my head don't really matter, or, you know, I can eat a little bit more food than usual, and I won't put on the weight, sort of thing. It can stack up. Yeah. And then you've got to come back to basics anyway. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, don't discount the basics. Everyone wants the magic bullet or the new fandangled shiny object and that sort of thing, but the basics work, and don't discount the basics. If something sounds simple, then it's probably going to work. If something sounds too complicated or over complicated, it's probably not going to work, because you're probably going to get overwhelmed and think, which way do I go? What do I do? So that's something I've had to learn as well, is to simplify things. A good thing that I go by myself is, it can be simple, but it might not be easy. So there's a big difference between simple and easy.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, it's just about checking in on those things. And like I said before, the levels of challenge change. So for my own fitness, all that sort of stuff, that's changed. The challenges around that. Business, keeping up with business, keeping up with the family. It's all just different challenges which require different tools, I guess.
Yeah.
And questions.
Different skills.
Yeah, 100%. So seeking help helps heaps.
Yeah, definitely. That's because I suppose you get to a certain certain challenges require certain skills. I'm just talking regardless of everything. Like you've spoken a bit about, you were all about performance at one point.
Yeah.
Certain set of skills are great for increasing performance.
Yeah.
You're injured or something like that's happening in your life, where that's mental health, you need certain skills for that.
Yeah.
And that's how you build your repertoire of tools, and I suppose you just become a better person.
Yeah. More
balanced and overall better.
Yeah.
In general, right? So whether that's fitness, mental health, physical, that sort of thing. So cool, man. All right, cool. I think we've got. So glad I had you here, man. So really glad I asked that question. How you got into the fitness industry, because I really wanted to go a bit more deeper into who Glen is and where he's come from. So really great we got that out of you. So that's awesome. So I think we should just wrap things up, man. So thanks heaps for coming on again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, cool. So so thanks heaps. So just let people know where they can find you, like plug your website and where they can find you on the internet. So
internet,
so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So easiest way is just to search my name. I'm probably the only one in the world that I've found online. So it's pretty easy to find me personally.
So Glen Lomman.
Yep. I'm sure you'll put it in the show notes or something.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, your name, your face and everything will be all over it. So
so Brighton Group Fitness and PT is my business. We are based in Brighton, South Australia. Like I said before, we do outdoor, local parks, go to people's houses, use their backyards, whatever, and kind of help people where they need to be, really. So yeah, it's probably the easiest way.
Yep. What's your Instagram handle?
Instagram, just Brighton_Group_Fitness. If you search for Brighton Group Fitness, you'll find that.
Probably pop up anyway.
Yeah, website brightongroupfitness.com.au.
Cool.
Yeah, all the normal things. Just search up on Google's and it'll come to me or the business.
That's it. All good. All right. Again, thanks once again, Glen. So that's it for the Movement Therapy Podcast. My name's Adam, and I help you return to the gym and stay there.